Globalism or globalization refers to the interconnectedness of countries through trade, investment, technology, culture, and communication. Over the past several decades, globalization has reshaped the world economy, creating vast supply chains, lowering consumer prices, spreading innovation, and lifting millions out of poverty. But what if this trend suddenly stopped? What if countries turned inward, cut trade ties, restricted capital flows, and limited cooperation? What would be the impact on the global economy and everyday people? First, it's important to understand that globalism has been a powerful driver of economic growth. When countries specialize in what they do best and trade with others, everyone can benefit through greater efficiency and access to a wider variety of goods and services. Consumers enjoy lower prices and more choices. Companies can source materials or labor from anywhere in the world, reducing costs and boosting profits. Innovation spreads faster as ideas and technologies cross borders. If globalism stopped, the immediate effect would be a sharp disruption of international trade. Many countries rely heavily on imports for essential goods, from electronics and clothing to food and medical supplies. Supply chains that span continents could break down, leading to shortages, delays, and higher prices. Manufacturing costs would rise as companies lose access to cheaper components or labor overseas. For consumers, this means paying more for everyday items. Without competition from foreign producers, domestic companies might raise prices. Inflation could surge, reducing purchasing power. Products that were once affordable due to global supply chains could become scarce or expensive, impacting living standards worldwide. Businesses would face new challenges. Companies that depended on global markets to sell their goods would lose customers. Export restrictions, tariffs, and border controls would fragment markets, increasing costs and reducing efficiency. Small and medium sized enterprises that rely on international suppliers or customers would be especially vulnerable, potentially leading to bankruptcies and job losses. Investment flows would slow or reverse. Foreign direct investment, which fuels development, infrastructure, and technology transfer, would decline. Countries might nationalize industries or impose capital controls to protect their economies, creating a less dynamic global financial environment. This could stifle innovation and economic growth. Jobs would be affected too. Industries that benefit from global trade, such as manufacturing, logistics, and services, would shrink. While some domestic industries might grow as countries focus on self sufficiency, overall productivity and employment opportunities would decline. Countries heavily dependent on exports might face severe recession. Global cooperation on major issues would suffer. Climate change, pandemics, financial stability, and security challenges all require cross-border collaboration. If globalism ends, coordination on these critical problems becomes more difficult, increasing risks for everyone. On the geopolitical front, a retreat from globalism could fuel nationalism and protectionism. Countries might compete aggressively for resources and markets, increasing tensions and instability. Economic decoupling, like the US and China restricting trade with each other, could become the norm, fragmenting the world economy into economic blocks. However, some argue that reducing dependence on global supply chains could make countries more resilient. The COVID-19 pandemic exposed vulnerabilities in just-in-time production and over-reliance on foreign suppliers. A slowdown in globalism might encourage reshoring manufacturing and strengthening local economies, creating jobs and boosting national security. In the long run, stopping globalism would fundamentally reshape how economies operate. Growth might slow due to reduced efficiencies and lost opportunities for innovation. Consumers would pay more and have fewer choices. Economic disparities between countries could widen as poorer nations lose access to global markets and investment. Political tensions and instability could rise. The world could become more fragmented, While some industries and regions might benefit from a focus on local production, the overall impact on economic prosperity and global stability would likely be negative. In conclusion, globalism has played a critical role in creating a more connected, prosperous world. Ending or reversing it would bring severe economic disruption, higher prices, fewer jobs, and greater geopolitical risk. The challenge for policymakers will be balancing the benefits of global cooperation with the need to protect local interests and build resilient economies.